Welcome to everybody who has joined us. This is the third of our 3 webinars that Brent Council has commissioned Branduin and Chris to deliver on our behalf. This one is the Growing Your E-commerce business webinar. This was commissioned by the council through using our UK Shared Prosperity Fund allocation as a way for us to support our businesses to be able to build resilience and grow. If you want to go back and watch the first 2, they will be available. Chris is going to put the link in the chat, so anybody who missed the first 2 can go and watch those on catch up. Likewise, I will put our business email address, the council's business email address, in the chat as well. So anybody has any queries, they want to reach out to us for anything, feel free to drop us a line at that email address. But for now, thank you very much, and I will hand over to Chris McNeil, who's going to deliver this webinar. Over to you, Chris.
Well, that's terrific. Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you. It's been a pleasure working with Brent over the last 3 webinars, 2 webinars, and then this one, third one today. And also, Lisa, thanks to you for helping with facilitation at your end. So as Mark has said, this is the third in a series of Growing Your E-commerce business webinars. The first one was all about how to get listed on Amazon. That's a particular kind of area of expertise of mine. And then the last one that we did a fortnight ago was a further area of expertise, which is expanding out away from Amazon. Perhaps you are looking at selling on other platforms like eBay or Etsy for your products, or maybe you've got a service business and such as professional services, and you're looking to sell on other products that are or other platforms that are more suitable for you. This third webinar is all about taking that niche level of business, that core foundation, and expanding it out to other opportunities. Before I proceed, I would just like to share those links as promised. So the first link that I'm sharing, I'm just putting into chat, is for the Branduin Business Support YouTube channel. We've got a lot of helpful videos there, but particular to this program that we're running with in partnership with Brent, we have the 2 previous videos. If you can see my slide deck now, do look for similarly arranged slides on the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the webinar that was given 2 weeks ago and another one that was given a month ago. Now, in addition to the 3 webinars in that series that we're offering, we have been commissioned to deliver 2 hours of free consultancy service to Brent-based SMEs. These are turning out to be incredibly popular, and there's a lot of businesses that are taking us up on the offer. My own background is 30 years of e-commerce consultancy and IT business consultancy. So I'd really love to be able to chat with some more Brent-based businesses, either products or service-based. Maybe you've sold in an e-commerce platform before and are looking to grow, or maybe you haven't touched e-commerce whatsoever and are looking for some signposting on how to start. I would love to work with you and help you get started. Again, that's for 2 one-hour sessions of free consultancy as funded by Brent, as Mark just explained. There is a link to that. My calendar booking, I will make that available now in chat. Just copying this over now. So the second link that I'm posting is directly to my calendar. Please click on that. Slots are going quite quickly, but there is some availability left next week and more availability left the week after. Please do click through and find a date and time that works for you. And avail yourself of the offer of 2 free one-hour sessions to help you grow your business. Right, so without further ado, let's carry on with today's presentation. I am now sharing a slide deck with the words "Delivering Growth for SMEs" at the top. If you cannot see that deck, please flag that and we'll rectify that. But I shall assume that you can, and we'll proceed. So this is me. I'm the same presenter as the previous two webinars. My name is Chris McNeil. I'm Canadian. I have lived in London now for 23 years. My background is IT. I founded one of Canada's first .coms back in 1994 in the capital in Ottawa, Canada. And back in those days, if we were doing anything in the internet, we were doing everything. So that was consulting and project management and application development, web development, and indeed e-commerce and social media. So for the last 10 years, particularly, my company has been selling on Amazon. That is a particular area of strength for us. We have had an account based here in the UK, but we've been selling on 14 other marketplaces. A marketplace I simply define as a country. So many of the EU countries, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, and more. And then also into the Americas, Canada, US, and Mexico, and over in the Pacific region, Japan, Singapore, and Australia. So that's an area of very strong comfort for me. We also have sold on other platforms as well, other global platforms like eBay or Facebook or Google Marketplace, and indeed in much more kind of niche domestic marketplaces. I've referenced in the previous webinar, The Range. You'll probably know that as a series of department stores, a chain of department stores that has been around for about 20 years, and about 2 years ago, they founded their first marketplace. And that's just one of many examples of marketplaces out there. So that could be a model that you choose to follow as you grow your business, where you start in one platform, one marketplace, and then expand out either your product range or into different countries or onto different platforms. So those are things that we can discuss in our one-to-ones. Additionally, I provide consulting services and educational services. And I'm a walking tour guide in London and a freeman of the City of London. So I do try to keep busy, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to scan that QR code. Right, so we'll move on to the topic of today's webinar, which is expansion. We can assume that you've done your first foundational steps. You're on a platform or in a marketplace. Maybe you've looked to expand out to a second platform or a further marketplace, and maybe you want to take it even further. And we'll be discussing some ideas on how you might want to consider doing that tonight. One option will be, and we'll deep dive into many of these here, is to expand your product catalog. A lot of people start with selling one or two services or a handful of different products. And then through luck or careful planning, you find the opportunity to sell more products, maybe seasonal products, maybe complementary products. So you use your first few products to experiment with a particular platform, feel comfortable in that, understand who your customers are, understand the metrics behind the platform, optimize your listings and so forth. And then you might want to choose to expand out your platform, your product range into other areas. Another way, another blue screen over the top, blue box in the top right, is analyzing data to identify growth opportunities. Sometimes it may be very, very obvious for you if you have experience in a particular product field, in a niche, in an industry. Perhaps you just know to start with one product and then expand out to others, or put variations such as color or size variations. But perhaps you're in an area that's new to you, and this is not immediately obvious. So you use the data that's available within a platform itself, and you see how your previous sales have been going, and where your customer feedback is, what your trends are. Do you have products that are more popular, that are less popular? Do you have products with stronger and more positive reviews, or less and weaker reviews? It's all about looking at the data behind the sales and try to understand where your next steps are going to be. We can think about enhancing product content, photos, videos, and descriptions. This is an ever-evolving step. I have mentioned in the first two videos how important it is to use all of the fields that a given platform will offer you. Amazon allows you to post 9 different product photos. You can type in titles, a number of bullet points, a very comprehensive description, and fill out metadata, color patterns, or whether the product requires batteries or power cord or things like that. But many of us start just with the basics, just with 1 or 2 photos, just with a brief description. We might be in a hurry. We might be chased by the manufacturer for an Amazon barcode or something like that. And we just need to get something up there so that Amazon can generate that barcode, or the platform can generate that unique ID. Then over time, we do product enhancements, or maybe we get customer feedback where customers don't like a particular feature of your product, or maybe they do like a particular feature. You want to downplay, not to distract or be dishonest in any way, but maybe downplay the features that customers are not interested in, and really highlight and feature the aspects of your product that they are interested in. And that will require updates to your product listings. Perhaps you've got some great photos, but you took those, and I certainly am not very good with a camera. Maybe it comes time to actually hire a professional photographer to take studio quality photos, et cetera, et cetera. So they're iterative processes that we go through to improve product content and listing content. You might be looking at multi-channel sales. Is this through online stores or social media? Maybe you don't get a lot of sales on Amazon, but you use Amazon as a fulfillment service. That is perfectly acceptable. So to put your product into FBA, into Fulfilled by Amazon, into their warehouses, and then you sell the product through your own website or through social media and simply have Amazon fulfill those orders for you. That's completely acceptable as well. We have another box here around cultivating customer reviews and feedback. I've alluded to that before. So that's the bit about looking at what your customers are actually saying, not just the listing feedback that you're getting on the listing itself, but elsewhere, the customer support messages that are coming through, perhaps customers in other markets as well. Perhaps you're selling some of these products physically in street markets or community markets, and having a chance to talk with customers, demonstrate products to customers, and really learn what they absolutely love and maybe not what they're so interested in about your product. That you can feed back into product listings themselves, and help to develop not just the listing, but perhaps future iterations of your product. Fulfillment and shipping considerations. You have options available to you. You can be fulfilling from home. That means that maybe you have a couple of boxes of your product someplace in a back room. You get an order, you package it up, and then you ship it out via local post office or local courier. That's completely acceptable, and many people do that. That saves time. It saves a certain degree of money in fulfillment charges. But maybe you get to that tipping point where it doesn't work for you anymore. Maybe you want to go on holiday and you want someone else to be looking at your fulfillment services. That's potentially where you examine what you're doing in the shipping world. Maybe you can do drop shipping. Maybe your product is manufactured by someone else that has a very robust consumer shipping and order handling process in place already. Well, maybe you never see the product. You never actually have to take it in. You never have to put it into Amazon itself. You just get the orders. You're an order taker effectively, and you place orders with that third party, with the manufacturer that can ship out the product. Lots of different options there. We have 2 further graphics, one on the left of your screen, which is leveraging promotions and advertising. A number of cases, you will be introducing your product as one of millions to a potential marketplace. Well, what do you do? There's a lot that you can do organically by really optimizing that listing, making it as attractive as possible, as easy to buy as possible, as searchable as possible, so that people can stumble across it or even find it through search, and then order that product. But maybe it's not so easy. Maybe you're competing in a very crowded niche. So you might want to identify some funding and start promoting or advertising. So in the Amazon world, we talked about this in the first webinar, Promotions might be something like applying some sort of voucher code, buy one, get the next one free, buy one, get a percentage off the next one, or even just outright advertising, what we might know on Facebook or Google as PPC, pay-per-click advertising, or in Amazon, sponsored ads. Fundamentally, they mean very, very similar things. The other graphic on the right, we see effectively managing finances and cash flow, effective goal setting for growth. You'll need to look at your numbers. You'll need to look at your stage in life, what it is that you're doing, what it is that you want out of your business. Some products will be maybe require some manual creation. One product won't look exactly like the next one. It'll be ideal for selling on eBay or Etsy. And because of all that manual time, you might determine the need to charge quite a lot just to be able to cover your time in manufacturing. You might find that that's too high. No one will buy at that rate. So then you need to scale back the revenue that you get for that product. Where are you going to get funds for your day-to-day living? Maybe that will be complemented by having a job elsewhere, or maybe there's another aspect of your business that will sustain that while you're launching and developing a new product. Or you might be looking at products that are selling particularly well now. Well, as the old expression goes, make hay while the sun shines. Take the benefit of the sales that you're making and the funds that you're earning, and make sure your financial house is in order. Make sure your accounts are up to date. Make sure all your suppliers are paid, and put some money away to invest in product development or indeed PPC advertising for slow periods in the year. Incidentally, as we're going through each slide, if there's anything that interests you that I'm saying that you'd like to talk with me about on a one-to-one session, please just make a note of it and bring those notes with you to our one-to-one, which is usually over Zoom or over a Google Meet. On our next slide here, we introduce the idea of expanding catalog, and I think we've referenced that before. And the cosmetics that we see in the picture in the middle is probably a great example. Perhaps the seller started off with hand creams and then wanted to go to oils or soaps or some other product as well. Perhaps they started with oils. You can see two bottles there of roughly the same size. And then that bottle on the right is a slightly larger product. Maybe they felt that there might be, 2 or 3 members of a family that would be using this particular product, and they wanted to start buying in bulk. So do think about what you could be doing for your catalog, matching products, complementary products. Certain marketplaces and platforms like Amazon do not allow you to upsell. You do not own that customer. Amazon owns the customer, and therefore you cannot upsell to that customer. Amazon does look after that, and I'm sure you've seen it as you've been browsing for products where they have a message that says, customers who have typically bought such and such a product also buy other products. But you might want to expand your catalog, and if you have a brand page, then it becomes very clear to the customer that you have multiple products available to the customer to buy. You'll want to analyze top performing categories. So again, I come back to the Amazon reference, but it's not exclusively there. It could be on eBay. It could be on Houzz. That's Houzz. That's a marketplace for professional services around building design, manufacture, a certain amount of trades, architect work, but also physical products that you might have in a building refit or a house refit. It could be any one of these marketplaces that have popular categories. So again, maybe you're looking at a product, let's say in cosmetics, and then it might be appropriate to launch an article of clothing that matches that if you see a demand in a complementary product category within that marketplace. So that's something to consider. Complementary products. Well, let me just ask here, do you still see if someone could please pop into chat if you still see my screen? I've just noticed an adjustment on my side, and I want to make sure that we're still connected. Can everyone still see my screen? If someone could just respond in chat.
Yep, we can still see your screen.
Terrific. Um, so complementary products, perhaps you're selling t-shirts and you want to sell shorts. So that would be a good example of a complementary product. So these are ways that you can be thinking about expanding your product catalog. Throughout all this, you'll want to maintain consistent branding. That's just not only within the product range itself. If people have come to know and like and trust a particular product and you're expanding out to other products, they want to trust that those new products that they've never seen before, that maybe don't have any ratings whatsoever, are from the same manufacturer. They've trusted you with the original product. They now feel that they can take a trial and try to trust you on the new product that you're introducing. Consistent branding will help with that. Equally, consistent branding between marketplaces, your social media, your own website, that also helps as well. So keep your brand name consistent. Keep the spelling of it consistent. If you use spaces or dashes, keep that consistent. The logo, the color scheme, all of that has got to be the same, whether you're leaving Amazon or leaving eBay, and where customers have been seeing your products and maybe going to your own website or even your own email system or FAQs, frequently asked questions, et cetera, et cetera. It's really important to have that level of consistency. There's back-end compliance benefits as well. Let's say that you are listing new products on Amazon that you've already got listed someplace on your website. Well, if you ever run into an issue and you need to invoke Amazon seller support, it will help speed up that process if you can point them to your own website that has the same products, the same look and feel, the same design. They'll look at it and say, yeah, it's got to be the same product. We see what you're doing on your own website. We see what you're trying to accomplish on our website. Fine, we'll help you out. You want to be looking at your unique selling points. So keyword research for discoverability. The blunt instrument is to buy advertising and drive PPC or drive sponsored ads to the particular product for sales. Maybe that's appropriate when you're launching a product. Maybe that's appropriate if you're in a particularly dry season or a particularly competitive season, but it may not be appropriate all the time. These platforms have tools available for use for you to sell your product based on organic search, organic discoverability. So photos have to be attractive as possible. You provide all the relevant buying information. You have consistent wording, as complete descriptions as possible without just sort of stuffing words in there. But also think about your keyword research. Where does that happen? Well, that could be on Amazon itself. So I'm sure if you've been on Amazon, you probably typed words in the keyword in the search bar, and there will be sample matches that other customers happen to be looking for, other products that customers are looking for. And you can be looking at those matches and figuring out which of those keywords might apply to your product. Not all of them will, but maybe some will. And that's something that you can build into your listings. Google, predictive search, same thing. You can also be looking at Google Trends, Google Keywords, that sort of thing. And there are many third-party tools that you can pay for on a subscription basis that will help you with keyword research and discoverability. We talked earlier about optimizing listings. We want to do compelling titles and description. So a lot of descriptions there about what the product is, what problem it solves, what features it has, and a little bit of a call to action, a CTA, buy now, effectively. You can't go too crazy with Amazon. Amazon doesn't like that, buy now, get one, products guaranteed, et cetera, et cetera. That's done by default. Amazon already guarantees the products that they sell. So you're kind of wasting a bullet point there, and Amazon really doesn't like that repetition there. But I'm sure you can find other ways of writing those compelling titles and descriptions. I keep coming back to Amazon because that is such a huge platform. It's not the only one, of course. There are many that we can be talking about, but a theme that we've had in the previous webinars is if you're doing things right for the Amazon environment, the level of quality and the level of compliance that they ask for there makes it just so much easier to start selling your product on other marketplaces. If you've already done it once on Amazon, chances are it's a copy and paste and maybe some minor tweaks to expand out to other marketplaces. There are a couple of exceptions to the rule, but fundamentally that is the rule. We also have this aspect of dynamic listing ads. This is your A/B testing. So many platforms will give you this opportunity to test two different ads. For example, let's take a very quick example, a garlic press. Maybe you want one ad that is dedicated to the chef in the kitchen. Maybe you want another ad that is dedicated to whoever makes the purchasing decisions, right? So they may not necessarily be the same person. So you can test who is actually buying your product. There's a difference between who's using it and who's buying it. You probably want to go with who's buying it ultimately. We're looking at product content best practices here. So again, we've said a few times now, high quality photos. If you're a photographer, great. You can take your own photos. Follow the platform rules. Amazon will require your product to take 80% of the first photo, and the other 20% in that photo has to be a white background. You can buy sets, little kind of mini studios that you can set up in your home, plug them in. They have a light in there. You can put your product in the middle of that, white background, a light shining from the top, and take a photo of that, different positions. Other options are that you can hire a professional studio photographer. That will cost you a little bit of money. You might want to try Snapper. That's snappr.com, I believe it is. That is a marketplace for photographers. So whether you need an event photographer, whether you need a street photographer, or whether you need a product, a studio photographer, you'll be bound to find someone who can help you out there. Let's not forget AI and the advancements of AI. For the iStore and for Google Play, and I think in the Microsoft environment as well, there's a product called Photo Room. That is an app that's available on subscription basis. You pay by the week. You pay about £3.49, I think it is, per week. It's the sort of thing that you can install, pay for a week, get all your photos done, and then uninstall and just suspend your subscription until the next time you need it. But it is incredibly powerful. I've used it many, many occasions to take a photo with a product that has a completely irrelevant, messy background behind it. And this will do wonders for taking the photo according to the platform that you select. So you might say, look, I want you to take photos that are compliant with Amazon's platform or eBay's platform, et cetera, et cetera. The other quite cool thing is that you can use artificial intelligence to put fake backgrounds into that photo. So I've taken many photos. I trade in keychains and fridge magnets of all things. I've taken photos of keychains, complete to Amazon requirements. So 80% of that first photo needs to be the product, 20% white background. But other photos, the other 9 slots, so the first slot is very simple. The other 9 slots that they activate, that they make available for you, can be what they call lifestyle photos. So the product in use, the garlic press in use in the kitchen, the bike handle grip on a bicycle out in the countryside or in a park, et cetera, et cetera. You may not have facility to do that. You may live in a flat. You may be away from from a park, for example. I don't know. You can use this photo room product, and indeed many others like it, to superimpose a background image. Maybe you have a beach ball and we're miles away from the beach. You can get AI to generate a beach scene with your ball bouncing on the beach. It's amazingly powerful. We then go on to detailed specifications, measurements, and variants. So if you have, I think the example that we gave a couple of weeks ago was the red t-shirt in a size small, and you also offer it in a size medium and a size large, and then you go on to a blue in a small, medium, and large. Those are 6 individual products, 6 individual variants. You will have a master product, which is effectively just a holding place on Amazon, and then you'll have 6 child listings underneath that. So a parent and 6 children. Each one of them will be probably pretty similar. They're going to be the same material. They're going to be the same cut. They're going to be the same manufacturer. They're going to be maybe the same design on them, but they're going to be different sizes or potentially different colors. So those are variants that you want to specify at the appropriate place, and do check. I've seen so many examples of copy-paste jobs where the seller has forgotten to change the size or change the color scheme or some other aspect of the product. When it comes to clothing, Amazon and other marketplaces will usually also by default offer a listings, a sizing chart. So for men, women, children, for UK sizes, EU sizes, US sizes. So you can build into your listings, for double verification, this is UK size, whatever, also equal to American size this or EU size that. Also then go in and use all the metadata. That's behind the scenes data, the stuff that the customer doesn't necessarily see about product weight and dimensions. That is so, so important when it comes to listing, particularly on Amazon and indeed other marketplaces. If you're trading in the US, you might be trading on Walmart, or you might be trading in other marketplaces that have fulfillment houses, because you're telling them how big your product is. You're telling them what class of postage they need to be using. With my keychain, that's maybe 50 grams in size and maximum a centimeter thick, I want to make sure that Amazon knows that that's going to go into a small envelope. No sense in them assuming it's going to go into a box, because I don't want to pay for them to ship a box. I'd rather pay for them to ship the smaller package using first-class mail, slips in a letterbox. So it's really important to do that. I find that on Amazon and certain other marketplaces, sure, I can measure that with a household ruler. I can measure it with kitchen scales, depending on obviously how big your product is. You can, if you have heavier, weightier products, you can invest in postal scales. Those typically run 20 pounds in cost to about 40 pounds in cost. Very, very useful. Great for shipping packages. Also great for weighing your suitcases when you're going on holiday. Very useful. But what you can do is you can estimate, send product into Amazon and ask them to measure it. They will measure to about 10 decimal places. It's a little bit ridiculous, I think, but you never know. That could be quite useful to know. And very often with that finite, that degree of measurement, that will potentially slip you into a higher cost category, but equally it could slip you into a lower cost category than what you determined when you were at home using your kitchen scales to weigh the product. The third box here is around demo videos to showcase usage. Depending on how you've got your Amazon account set up, you will be able to upload videos. That's great. It could be inspirational videos, it could be how-to videos, it could be aspirational videos. But of course, you've got a lot more control in social media, where you can use videos to actually demonstrate your product. And think about breaking that down. Think about going into the true detail of what your product offers. So for a fridge magnet, yeah, okay, you take a picture of the front of the fridge magnet, and potentially you take a picture of the magnet on the back. What else? Well, you can actually zoom in on different areas. You start creating more and more images for more and more slots. Maybe you have a magnet talking about how it was made in an ecological fashion. Maybe you have a separate video around how the magnet is one of a series, and do a little bit of an upsell. You've got more control of that on social media. Maybe you have a demonstration where you say, okay, the magnet will affix to the fridge, and it's really great for photos or stacks of papers or something like that. So it's all about giving a distant customer more information about that product and the buyability of that product. If you're offering services, keep your videos really short, 2-3 minutes. I've got this form. How do I complete this form in the best possible way? Oh, if you need my service, come back and we can talk more. We can have a free consultation. We can do something else. So do think about not giving the whole thing away in a video, but just very small components, and focus on individual features. And maybe you can aim the same features at different marketplaces as well. My magnets, equally good for home use on a fridge, on a noteboard someplace, whiteboard. but maybe in bulk selling to events companies. They want 100 or 200 units to stick into party bags for some sort of event. So think about your audiences as well. Oops, let's go to the next slide. There we go, a bit of lag. We should now be on a slide that has the title Promotions Framework. So we've talked about this a little bit before, site-wide sales, free gifts, bundles. When you're doing this on your own website and certain other platforms, you've got far reach to do pretty much what you want, some restrictions, but pretty much what you want. When you're doing this on Amazon and certain other marketplaces, you have a lot less control. So site-wide sales, well, you can do shop-wide sales. You can certainly include all of your SKUs in a flash sale, 10% off for the next week. You can have subsections of your SKUs. So I might want to offer a 10% discount on my fridge magnets, but not my keychains. I can be doing bundles, but I need to set those up as separate listings. So maybe we have visitors coming over from a different country. We want to have a bundle as a welcome gift. We want one keychain. We want one fridge magnet. We want one bottle opener, for example. I can package those together at my end, create a new listing and say, there's a bundle for you. And equally, there are tools on Amazon that kind of allow you to do that in a virtual sense. Free gifts, that's a little tricky in Amazon. What you can do is buy product X and get product Y for free. You sort of do that. But on your own site and indeed other platforms, you have a lot more control where you say, look, customer, you've bought this product. Send me an email, leave me a review, and I'll give you a free gift. Try to do so in an ethical way. I've seen too many shops say, leave us a 5-star review and you get a free gift. Not great, not very ethical, I don't think. I think reviews should be honest. Whether honesty is a 1-star or a 5-star, well, that's the chance you take. And obviously, on your side, you'll be doing as much as you can to set up your business, your product, and your communications to just naturally let customers to leave those 4- and 5-star reviews for you. Loyalty programs and points. Again, you've got a lot more scope on your own website. Maybe you want to set up some sort of point system, buy 9 and get the 10th free, for example. A little bit more restricted on Amazon, but you do have that option through subscribe and save. That's a program that's built into Amazon that's available to all professional sellers. The example that I think I used in a previous video was birdseed. So we have a bird feeder outside. And every month I've just got it automated so that Amazon will charge my credit card and send another, 5 kilos of birdseed that we can put into that bird feeder. I don't have to remember it. I don't have to do anything about it. If I choose to go on holiday, I can pause or completely stop that subscription model and then restart at a time that's convenient to me. I can adjust it. So in winter, I might want 2 of those kind of boxes per month instead of just the 1. So there's various adjustments that you can have. Think about other things for home use, for example, other consumables. Maybe that might be something for the kitchen, or it might be something for bathroom, or in my case, I do a magnet of the month offer. So you can get a different magnet every month through the subscribe and save. It's a little quirk. I confess we're not making a lot of sales through that particular channel, but hey, we have made a few sales and it's free to activate, so why not? Thinking about your advertising channels, well, we've touched on a few of these already. PPC ads on Google and Facebook, for example. Those are pay-per-click ads, where you go into the advertising components of Google, Facebook, and various other marketplaces. You configure products, you configure your ads. Potentially that's your A/B split testing. So one ad for this audience, another ad for that audience, and just see which one works better. And then you need budget behind that. That budget will be up to you. Some platforms will allow you £1 a day or a flat cost of £100 or £200. In other platforms, you can put basically as much as your budget allows. Think about some of the major household brands that do tens of thousands of pounds of advertising per platform every month. So it's really up to you and where you scale. Do get some help with that. Some of these can be quite tricky to set up. LinkedIn, you go through budget very, very quickly. And it's really an art specifically on LinkedIn to get your advertising account set up. That might be for professional services or might be for consultancy services to complement maybe products that you sell. PPC on Amazon is called sponsored ads, and there's a whole other section of Amazon which allows you to go into sponsored ads. It's again, as I described, make a budget, set up your listings, allow the thing to run. Great thing about Amazon is customers hit that website with the intention to buy rather than people going to Google with the intention to research. So think about those options. Retargeting to previous visitors. I'm sure you've looked at products before, maybe on Amazon, maybe some other site, and that product seems to follow you around to other websites that you visit. That's retargeting. There's a process of identifying a pixel, which is the little dot that appears on your computer screens. There are thousands of these dots that make up your screen. And there's a way of identifying a specific pixel that gets launched in an ad and then follows that browser to various other websites and displays a similar ad on those other websites. So I'm conscious of time here, but just thinking very quickly for yourself, thinking about your product listings, consider your current product listings. You might want to have note to yourself, what one specific section do you think might need improvement? Or what are the main enhancements that you would like to focus on first? Maybe you know that text needs improvement, but actually you quite want to tweak the images first. Or one key action step that you will take within the next week to start elevating those listings, or maybe even creating listings for the first time. So you can make those notes to yourself. And if we have time, I'll take a couple of questions in chat as well. Cultivating your reviews. We have touched on this a little bit. For absolutely first thing, ensure your product, your customer service, your listings, your descriptions, all aspects of what it is that you're selling lends itself to a positive product review. Think about the last time you've bought a product or you've used a service or you've gone to a particular restaurant or cafe and you said, hey, what I see on the outside, the picture of the food that I see on the outside, for example, isn't what I actually got served on the inside. What's going on? You don't want to leave a 5-star review in that case. So if you're going to be displaying a beautiful picture of your food, make sure your food is actually served that looks as close to that picture as possible. So it's consistent. So the customer can walk away or can purchase that product, use the product and say, yeah, I feel that I got my money's worth. I feel that the communications that the seller has given me is fair and accurate and timely, and I'm very happy. You will get oddities. I got a Google website review that was 3 stars, and they just said, good. They didn't even buy from me. I don't know where this came from. You will have some odd reviews out there. In certain cases, you can do something about it, and in other cases, you can't. Amazon removed a couple of years ago the ability to reply to product reviews. You can reply to seller reviews. So the difference there is product. I buy a product, I use it, I'm either happy with it or I'm not, I leave a review. Maybe some photos, maybe just text, whatever. A service, I asked the seller to provide me an invoice or to help with a problem that I had or to resolve something like that. Did I get good service from the seller? So Amazon will allow you to receive those seller reviews and comment on them. Make sure you do comment. The 5 stars, even if it's something as simple as saying, thank you for your purchase. Make sure that the next customer will know that you've got an active team behind you that is actually looking at these things, it is actually commenting. The other quite nice thing that you can do without violating privacy and sensitivities is what we've done is we've had customers come to us and say, hey, thanks for your order. We spend a moment to figure out what they bought, maybe a keychain, we don't specify. And we'll respond, thank you for your purchase of a keychain. Something as simple as that. What that tells the next customer who might be on our Amazon page to buy a fridge magnet is that we also sell keychains, and it might give them an idea to say, well, actually, I need a keychain too, so let me buy one of each. It's a little extra sale. It's not guaranteed, but every little helps, as they say. Going on to best-selling items, peaks and trends, think about that. Do you really want to be selling a summer article of clothing? Excuse me. Do you really want to be having in Amazon stock a summer article of clothing in the mid of winter? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe that's not right for you. If you don't want that, then why are you paying Amazon storage costs? So think about your ups and downs, peaks and trends. And equally, as you're getting closer to the crunch season, so for example, with Easter coming up, or maybe Prime Day coming up, or summer holidays coming up, make sure your stock is available for selling during that time, and thinking about how busy the post is going to get. So just plan out when your stock needs to be available and available for sale so that the customer gets it on the day they want. Customer wants something for little Johnny's birthday, not the day after. I'm going to move on. I am just a little bit aware of time. If there's anything that grabs your attention from any of these screens, we can take them up in a one-to-one session. Thinking about your multi-channel, that was an example that I've given previously, which is stock on Amazon and use third-party software like a tool called Joe Lister. There are plenty others out there. I just happen to have used Joe Lister in the past to list some of those products on eBay. And that middle ground, that middle software, will handle the ordering process on eBay. Customer comes to eBay, buys a product, Joe Lister picks that up, recognizes it, places that order with Amazon. Amazon ships out that product. I never touch that product at all. It all happens automatically. Think about the cost of software. Think about the cost of setting those up. You will have to scale up the price on eBay in order to be able to pay for all that stuff that happens along the chain. So just do think about that. Fulfillment scaling, well, automation tools, that's one example that I've just given with Joe Lister, connecting up the two platforms. Managing quality and speed, definitely. Customer buys, they want you to get it out the door as quickly as possible. Doesn't matter if you're on holiday, doesn't matter if you're ill, doesn't matter if you want to catch the latest film, they want the product out the door. Do think about that. Equally, if they want to be able to send it back, they don't want any hassle with that. They want you to be able to accept the product nicely, smoothly, cleanly, and get a refund ASAP. So Amazon does that for you behind the scenes already. They will just automatically take the customer side and provide the customer with a refund, and then you'll have to deal with whatever product comes back in whatever format it comes back in. But do think about, if you are fulfilling your own products from your own website, what are you going to do with the returns? If it's resellable, great. You just stick it back in your box, make sure it's clean, make sure it looks like new, and get it out the door. If it's a particular garment, if it's a cream, if it's a foodstuff, can you resell it? Probably not. So that's going to be a loss that you'll have to take. What are you going to do to dispose of that? If the product is an electronics product and it's been opened and damaged, you can't resell it. Maybe you can donate it if it's still in working condition. But what if you can't? What are you going to do to dispose of that? There will be some local rules around that. Financial planning, we talked a little bit about cash flow projections earlier on. Start thinking about what you're going to need for statutory compliance reasons, your accounts, your filings, that sort of thing. How are you going to reserve funding for that? What are you going to need to grow your business in terms of making the sound decisions to hire the right services, to buy the right tools, to expand to the right premises? What do you need for your own personal development and your own goals, your family's goals? You're going to have to factor that in as well. Thinking about seasonality. Now I'm buying and sourcing stock that's going to be available for Christmas. So that money is tied up now for the next 6 months until it starts selling in September and October. Think about that. Considering some options for yourself, you might want to read through the screen and make a note to yourself, maybe something that we can discuss in our one-to-ones. Cultivating a strong base of positive customer reviews is essential for building trust and credibility. Consider your current review situation and tactics to outline a single action that you will take to proactively request more reviews. Now, thinking about Amazon, they already have a mechanism in place that solicits customer reviews. Do you? You can link up with any number of third-party sites for review mechanisms. You can, depending on your arrangements with other suppliers and other services, you can copy and paste reviews from third-party sites that you've earned, maybe through agencies, onto your own website, but obviously check that that's okay with them. Maybe there are public forums if you're in the travel world, as I am with walking tours. Maybe TripAdvisor. Maybe are dedicated platforms where you can harvest reviews. Do think about that. Also, don't worry about asking for reviews. I was recently traveling for work, and I was staying in a hotel, and on the third day after breakfast, the waiter handed me a little card with a QR code on it. Evidently, he saw that I was happy with the service, and he said, "Well, would you mind leaving a review?" And of course, it had never dawned on me before. I just didn't have any interest in leaving any review whatsoever. But because the service had been so good to that point, I said, "Sure, why not? It'll take me 2 minutes to do." All he did was ask, and he got an extra review. One key response template for reacting helpfully to negative feedback. So think about what could go wrong. That could be a failure of your product. It could be your product going missing. It could be the wrong product shipped. It could be something more serious. So do think about that. If it's a product with little parts in it, think about potential impact on children or animals. Think about what could go wrong with your product and service. And what backup have you got? Is there insurance? Did you get the product from another manufacturer? What coverage do they have? Where are they located? Is insurance recognized in their country? Et cetera, et cetera. Potential incentives that you could offer to prompt shares and amplification. We talked about this earlier. Do so in an ethical way. I don't think, "Please give me a 5-star review and I'll refund your money," is particularly ethical. But maybe there is a free gift that you can offer. "Please give me a review and join a free email list," or get a 15-minute free consultancy, et cetera, et cetera. Just got a few more slides, and then I'll let you go for the evening. We're looking at exploring private label potential. So that would be developing owned product lines. I think many of you potentially on this call or watching this video might have your own personalized product range under a company brand or under your name. It could be articles of clothing. It could be cosmetics. It could be maybe some kitchen appliances that you've branded. So this is great. It gives you more control over the product, or more control over ingredients, or more control over product size. It also opens you up to greater risk in terms of protecting your branding, protecting your recipe, protecting a number of other aspects of your intellectual property. So do think about that. Having your own brand, your own product, does make it easier to get brand registered on Amazon. So having that identification, be it a trademark, a patent, a copyright, that sort of thing, some intellectual property as evidence, you can get brand registered a lot more easily on Amazon as a result. But again, we're talking about packaging and branding. You have a lot more control over that. It might cost you a little bit more because maybe you don't have the economies of scale just yet to actually justify a larger brand and packaging and other components. But equally, you get it right, specifically matching the color, the material, and as I say, the ingredients that you particularly want for your brand. Thinking bigger picture going on, what is the future vision for your business? Maybe you've just launched. Maybe you're already, very well established, and you're looking at opening in another marketplace, in another premises, another product line, a parallel product line, et cetera, et cetera. What do you want? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to grow something out and sell the company? Do you want to exit after 3 years, after 5 years? That's a possibility for you. Sell to a larger company, sell to an investor, sell to an aggregator. So think about what it is that you want. Maybe you don't want to do that. I've spoken to many businesses recently. There was one logistics company that I was talking to a couple of weeks ago. They started the company about 20 odd years ago as basically a man in a van, and now they're a £100 million company, and they're the third largest logistics company in the world for their particular niche. So pretty interesting stuff. You can set ambitious but realistic next level goals. So think about what that next step is. As I say, coming back to new product line, marketplaces, product variants, and so on and so forth. What is your ambition and what is your reality? I used to work in a tech firm many years ago, and we had stretch goals. So you have a goal, what we thought we could accomplish in a given year, and then there was a stretch goal. If you have extra capacity, what's that extra 10%, 15% that you can be doing? You want to be inspiring your commitment and your creativity. Be true to the product line that you have. Think about the objectives that you need to achieve this vision. Do you want to be the best, the fastest, the biggest, the most specialist? What are the objectives? What are the steps that will help you get to that area? And it may not be instant. You may need to take one small step after each one, gradually to get incrementally to that goal. How about prioritization? Prioritization, vital growth sales and growth areas. What you're looking at today may not be a priority tomorrow. You may need to pivot quite quickly. That's one of the advantages of being a much smaller business, that we can be a little bit more agile in terms of pivoting. If I see a new product line that I think looks interesting, yeah, I'll try it. I'll put a couple of £100 behind it, try it, get it listed. If it works, it works. If not, well, it's a lesson learned and we move on. Getting your team to buy in as well. In many cases, a micro business or an SME, the team is just one person. It is kind of lonely at the top. But often you might have a life partner who's also your business partner. Well, that discussion needs to happen. Maybe you have a specialist consultant who has been doing some fantastic work for you in a particular field. They may not necessarily know how to grow that product to the next level. So talk with them first. Don't just assume that they have the right experience in branding or marketing or technical background just to be able to adopt and assume a new product. Include them in early and have that discussion, and they might come up with some fantastic feedback that will help you build an even better product or service. Provide your clarity on expectations. So think about blue sky, then going into wireframe mock-ups on what you think your new product or service will look like, maybe some instructions, maybe a prototype, maybe a short print run or a short production run. So build these things up in step by step so that your community, be it your customer community or your supply chain or those people closest to you, will understand exactly where you want to go and have a chance to adapt. As I say, just a couple more slides here. Tracking and optimizing. So a lot of these tools will give us dynamic progress monitoring. So Amazon sponsored ads will help with that. They've got a very, very sophisticated tool, which is pretty much daily reporting that will show us how much we're spending on what particular products, how much pay-per-click, and more importantly, how many sales are we getting for that ad spend. So that gives you real power to make these alterations and these determinations on the fly. This helps you assess what's working versus what needs adjustment. Maybe you just want to stop advertising altogether. So I've got a number of product lines that no amount of advertising will seem to help them. The listings are good, they're organic, they're the best that I can produce at this point, but I'm stopping selling. I'm stopping the advertising behind them because I'm just wasting money. They will sell organically on their own at a pace that I'm satisfied with. I don't need to buy advertising to help challenge that. So we're coming to the end of the presentation now. Before we go into the top 3 action plan, what I'd just like to do is have a quick look at chat and see if there are any questions here. So thank you very much for listening so far. I see one question from Maria, which was the name of the tool. So I think, Maria, you were asking about Photo Room. That's the tool that's available to both iPhones and Android phones, I think possibly Microsoft phones as well. That's called Photo Room. That helps you create photos of your product that will be suitable for listings in various marketplaces. And I think you're also asking about snapper.com, which is, I think I've got that right, which is a website. It's a marketplace for photographers. So if people have particular photographic skills, if they're particularly good at event photography, they'll list themselves accordingly. Outdoors, street photography, and product photography. So you can hire a photographer just for a limited time, have them come to you, or you can go to them, depending on what sort of need you have. Before I wind down the presentation, are there any other questions that you've got? What I will do is post in chat one more time this Calendly link. So that's a link to my diary. And again, we do have a handful of places that are still available, spots that are still available. I invite you to click on that link and book with me your one-to-one sessions. If you are watching this video as a replay, here we are currently on the 5th of March, where slots in my diary are still available, but as I say, those are going quickly. So if you are watching it as a replay, please do try, but I'm not sure how long this offer is going to be available. So we want to make sure that we help 25 Brent-based businesses, and we're making progress on that front. So just in terms of winding down, do think about what your top 3 action plan will be. You might want to just take a screenshot or just make notes of this. It'll certainly be in the webinar replay. Based on what we've talked about today, maybe there's some topics that directly link to your business. Maybe there are some things that we've talked about today that have given you other ideas on areas of work that you need to do on your business. So think about your top 3 action plan. What is it? Who is going to do it? And by when are you going to do it? Just write that out, print it off, put it on a piece of paper, put it on a whiteboard, and just beside your desk or in the bathroom or on the kitchen table or something like that. So that's something that you can be looking at fairly regularly and say, how are you going to accomplish these goals? You may have dozens of others that you want to reach, but don't go through and list all those dozens just yet. Start with 3, get those 3 done, and that gets you into a nice cycle, a nice habit of moving forward your business. This has been the program schedule. So we have had, this is the 3rd of the 3 webinars. So thank you very much for attending this. It's been a real pleasure. All 3 webinars are available or will be available on the Brand to Win Business Support YouTube channel. The first 2 certainly are. This one will be available as a replay in a couple of days' time, and we'll send out an email with the link. And we'd have these one-to-one e-commerce business growth sessions. Again, that's 2 free hours with me. We can talk about anything relating to your e-commerce aspirations, developments, changes, or indeed have a look at your business readiness to go on to e-commerce. Maybe you're still in planning mode. Maybe you're still getting a few ducks in a row in terms of registering your business, or maybe looking at new marketplaces to expand into. So very, very happy to talk about those aspects too. This is just a little bit more information about the one-to-one sessions. When you book with me, the calendar will look a little bit like what we see just in the screen below there. and we will be completing an action card together. So there's some just brief demographic information that I'll be asking you at the top of the sheet. And then we'll have a conversation. You'll have the option to have that recorded, and that recording will be made available to you privately. And I'll then go out to fill out these different sections here around your business description, any issues and barriers that you have, and what your action plan could be, and then make sure that, that you get a copy of that. Great. So I'd like to leave it at that. I would like to thank you very, very much for your attendance tonight. We've just run about 8 minutes over, so I appreciate your patience. And if there are no more questions, I will let you go and have a terrific evening. So thank you very much.